Partnery podcastu Čistý střed jsou aplikace Darts Oracle a Winson. Šipky a šipkové příslušenství přesně pro tebe.
Dámy a pánové, vítejte u dalšího rozhovoru v podcastu Čistý střed. Tentokrát je to rozhovor velmi zvláštní a velmi zajímavý, protože si budeme povídat v angličtině, proto tedy vydáváme dvě verze, jak předabovanou českou, tak také anglickou. Mým dnešním hostem je Philip Brzezinski, Master of Ceremonies na European Tour. Philip, welcome to one of the, or probably the first Czech podcast we've ever do in darts.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
How long have you been in darts?
I've been working full-time with PDC Europe since November 2019, so I'm very close now to making it 5 years. But I've been kind of involved for like 1.5 years prior to that. So yeah, it's around about 6-7 years now.
And what made you like think about darts? What made you love the darts?
Oh, the first time I watched darts was actually much earlier. That was the 2006 World Championship. It was the semi-final between Phil Taylor and Wayne Mardle. We went down to a last set to a final set. I don't think it was a sudden death, but it was a final set, and Phil Taylor won that 6-5. And that was the first time I ever watched darts, and I was like, I didn't even know that there was a professional darts going on. And I watched this, and I was so intrigued by it. I found it so exciting and so thrilling that I was just hooked from that moment on, and I watched the darts ever since. And so yeah, when I got the opportunity to kind of go into that professionally, I had to take the chance.
I think I'll start with a difficult question after 2 minutes. But you said that you started watching darts like almost 20 years ago. So who's more of a GOAT for you, Phil Taylor or Michael van Gerwen? Because or Luke Little, I know.
Oh, yeah. Well, Luke, not quite yet. I think I would have to say that it's difficult because I have to still interview Michael van Gerwen on a weekly basis. So it would be easy just to say it's Michael. But I think as far as developing the sport and as far as titles and trophies go, I'd say Phil Taylor's the GOAT.
I think you are one of the faces of German darts. Next to Martin Schindler, next to Gabriel Clemens, Ricardo Pietrezco. How do you think the people reacted in Germany when the European Tour started a few years ago? Now there are still tournaments, many people come, first German titles. So how do you think the reaction changed in Germany, or how the atmosphere changed?
Oh, it changed drastically, really. I mean, when you talk about when the European Tour started in 2012, that was when the whole thing had kind of already taken off. But it's when we talk the 4 or 5 years prior to that, that's, I wasn't there then, but I speak to, Werner von Moltke, and they tell me the stories about those days. And I know stories of the European Championship in 2008 when it was held in Frankfurt, I think, at the Südbahnhof. It was a proper TV event. So, and they had round about 20 people that were there that came to watch it, and they went out on the streets and said, well, you come in, like, just come in, watch the darts, it's for free, just enjoy yourself. And they tried to make it look good for TV. When you take that into account, and when you look at where we are now, that with the European Championship now in Dortmund, and with it's still like 3 weeks to the event, and we've broken the record for attendance now once again, like I think it's the third year on the trot. It's the difference is night and day, and it makes us all so happy and humble and grateful that it's going like this.
I think there are also new talents coming in. Nico Springer won his card a few days ago in the development tour. So do you think now we can see the results of what PDC Europe has done in a couple of last years? Because now there are new talents coming. They probably want to go next to Schindler, Clemens, Pietrezco. So do you think now we see the results of what German darts has done to the PDC?
Yeah, it always takes time, doesn't it? Like when you put measures in place, and when you do things to develop a sport in a certain country, like it always takes time, and it takes time for young people to watch the sport on television and go, hey, that's a cool sport. I want to do this. It's not like they're going to be world class players within 6 months. That's not how it goes. So it's like like a small plant, you know, you put the seed in the soil, and then you have to wait, and you have to put water to it, and tend to it, and be careful. So yeah, that development is surely there now. We can see that German darts is developing, you know, much better as far as the width of talent goes. You know, you got many more good players. You mentioned Nico Springer, who I think is gonna leave a mark on the Pro Tour. He wants to do it now. I think he could have done it a couple of years earlier, but I think he took the sensible approach of, you know, first getting his education done and ready and stuff like that. So that's good for him. And we can also see it in the Super League. I mean, there are players now that come through the next gen as well. And, you know, we'll be on television with that in early November, from November 5th to 8th. And people will watch it and they go, well, I've never heard that name. But wow, he can play darts. And that's what you want. And that's not only Germany, that's what we want to see everywhere, you know, anywhere for the sport to prosper.
Maybe next, a bit more difficult questions. What about Max Hopp? Because he was a big star 5 years ago. He won the European Tour. He was a star of the World Cup team. And now he's trying to get back to the PDC. But you, in Germany, you have people with titles already. You have semi-finalists of the World Cup. You have World Cup at home. So do you think he is a bit of a forgotten guy? Because, yeah, well, there are new talents, there are new people that are making darts proud in Germany.
Yeah, you know, that is sort of the way things go in darts or in sports in general. Like, you know, when there are people that have started to pick up an interest in darts the last 3 or 4 years, they won't have heard a lot about Max Hopp. Obviously, everybody that started watching the game 10 years ago, they were, of course, hey, Max is one of our big names, one of our big guys, and I know Max well, and I've known Max for a lot of years. And you know, we all wish him well, trying to come back. But as you know, darts is such a difficult sport. And once you've kind of hit that wall, and once you've been knocked down, it's difficult to get back up. You know, there. Couple of encouraging signs with him. You know, he made his comeback on the European Tour in Hildesheim. He won a game there, and I think everybody that was there and watched the game just saw how much it meant to him and how happy he was on stage. So that was great to see. But yes, as I say, you know, guys that started watching darts the past 5 years, they haven't seen Phil Taylor play. You know, and Phil Taylor's just, of course, they know him because he's Phil, but he's no one that they have an active memory about watching him. So that's how it goes. But maybe for Max, there's also a good thing, because there's now a considerable percentage of people in the crowd that don't really expect him to do that well, and he's had to deal with, you know, those big expectations for the majority of his career. I mean, he was 16, 17 when he made his debut at the Worlds. And all eyes were on him because he was the big talent in German darts, and there was such a big interest already in German darts. And I always say, to Max's credit, I think 99% of players in his position, they wouldn't be playing darts today. So he's still there, and he's still trying, he's still plugging away, which is a good thing, and we wish him well.
What do you think about a name that came to my mind, and it's Fabian Schmutzler, because we saw him play a couple of years ago, 16 years of age. He won the development tour. He was in the Worlds, but now I've probably haven't heard about him about 2-3 years. So do you think he is a kind of a, I don't want to say wasted talent, but do you think that the mental thing killed him a bit in his career?
I mean, it's way too early to talk about a wasted talent, because he's so young. He's got so much time and so much darts to be thrown ahead of him. Yeah, another one. But great talent, but it always comes down to how do you manage to deal with your own expectations. And once you've made the World Championship, and the way, like, you know, you remember that year on the development tour when it was the last 3, 4, 5 events that he played, because he couldn't play the first half of it because he wasn't 16 then. So the way he qualified for that World Championship was unreal. But then once you've been there, and once you've tasted that, and you want to reproduce that, and you think, hey, that's what I can do. That's what I want to do all the time. How can you deal with that mentally? And I think he's one that he kind of hit that wall as well. And hopefully for him, he'll find a way out of it, because as we've seen a couple of years ago, there's so much raw talent with him.
Maybe if I say PDC Europe, many people think or connect it with Germany in general, because they are probably half of the European tours outside of Germany. So how important for you is to widen the PDC Europe name outside of Germany? Because I saw that 3 years ago you spoke in an interview you are planning a European tour in Portugal. So is it still on? Probably there could be a European tour in France, now 2 tour card holders. So it probably just comes to my mind a bit. So do you think that now it is a possibility to widen the European tours as they were extended to 14 events, so they can probably not get out fully from Germany, but they can probably just be 2-3 tournaments in Germany and then the rest outside?
We see if we cut it down to 2 or 3 in Germany, but surely in the next couple of years we will move more events out of Germany and into different countries. Next year, or the 2025 is going to be where we're going to add a new country to the European Tour. So that's always the goal. The goal is always to broaden the sport across Europe, find new places. And you can see with places like Belgium, when we have 2 events now, where the hype for darts at the moment is unreal, and that won't get any worse now that Mighty Deck has won the World Grand Prix, trust me. So there are a couple of countries that we look at. We debuted Switzerland this year, which has been a roaring success, really. It's been really, really great there, great event. So yeah, for the future, that is always the goal. But nevertheless, Germany, when it comes to darts, is the second biggest market after the UK. So it's a big country. It's 83 million inhabitants. So there will always be a handful of European Tour events there. But steady progress over the next years.
Yeah, we'll remember Switzerland as Karel Sedláček won the first match ever there.
Did, yeah, exactly.
But maybe could you be more specific about what you plan in the future? In the names of countries, I was thinking about some like northern countries, Sweden, Finland. So can you be more specific?
I think more about the south.
Italy, probably, yeah. Spain. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. And I have to ask, do you plan, or is there a possibility to have 2 European tours in the Czech Republic in the next years in the future?
Never say never. I mean, you saw how quickly everything developed in Belgium. Where we had those 2 years of visa, where we were like, oh, this is unbelievable. There's every session is sold out. The atmosphere is great. So yeah, with the Czech Republic, that could happen, no doubt. I mean, we know that there's a genuine interest here for darts, and darts is on television as well, which is always an important thing because, as I said earlier, this is where young people get in touch with the sport and they watch it and they say, hey, that Karel Sedláček guy, I want to be like him. I want to throw darts like him. So that's the good thing when you get that public exposure on television. That sort of that produces the soil on which a sport can grow. So yeah, never say never about that.
You spoke about Germany as a second biggest market for darts. You have the European Championship as the conclusion of the European Tour. You have the World Cup. And probably I want to stop on the World Cup a bit because we can see in another sports there are World Championships moved everywhere around the world. So do you think that there is a possibility, or do you even think about in PDC that you can probably move the World Cup somewhere else to, I don't know, Czechia, to the Netherlands, to, I don't know, France, wherever. So do you think it should be moved, probably as the first question?
I don't know if it should be moved, but I'm very sure about that it could be moved. But that is in the end a decision that comes down to the PDC, to Matt Porter, who makes that call. And when they say, hey, we'd like to try a World Cup there, we'll say, yeah, we'll stage it there. Let's try it. I mean, I can understand where that thought is coming from because I know that the Germans get the home advantage with their home crowd at the World Cup of Darts. So I can understand that where it comes from. Also, the World Cup idea in football that that's not being played in the same country every year or every 4 years anyway. So I understand the theory behind it, and we'll see what happens in the future. But I'm certain that that's something that could happen.
If I can ask, where you want to move the World Cup, if you can choose one country outside of Germany where it should be held, what would you choose?
Well, let's think. I mean, obviously, kind of Netherlands, Belgium would be a bit of a no-brainer. But I could also, I don't know. I think maybe even Poland, because I was very, very impressed with their World Series event there. So that's something they're gonna keep going. So there are so many choices where that could be going. So I don't really have a clear cut favorite where it's okay if it goes outside of Germany, I'd like to see it there. But no, there are a handful of countries where I could see it go.
I'll probably move to the action or to the tournament that is closest to us when we make this interview. That's the Prague European Tour that starts tomorrow. How do you like the atmosphere here? Because like a lot of players say they love to come back to Prague. They love the atmosphere here. So what about you? Because you are on the stage just before the match starts and after the match is ended. So how do you feel the importance of the atmosphere here?
The atmosphere has been great the last couple of years. I mean, I remember when we still played at the Králové Arena, where Adam Gavlas had a good run there, and I remember the noise there, like when his match starts, when it was so loud, it was really deafening. And you know what Adam's like, he gives it large on stage as well. He enjoys it. So the atmosphere is fantastic, but you know, without being disrespectful to the opponent, which is always a really important thing. And I think we're seeing that more and more now. I mean, I keep saying that on the stage as well about Belgium, where they're really fair, about the Czech Republic. Switzerland was okay. They did all right. And I know that German fans they get criticised a lot for that, but I think it's gotten so much better over the last couple of years. You know, I did it on stage, I did it on television. I criticise the crowd when I feel it's out of order. I say it. I've got no problem getting booed myself. I'll do that. So, but I've not had to do that for quite some time now, because I think the more darts develops and the more people get the sport, the more they understand the spirit of it. And it's not about being partisan for one player and be completely against the other guy. It's about guys standing next to each other. One cheers for Gary Anderson, one cheers for Michael van Gerwen, and there's another guy who cheers for Karel Sedlacek. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I think that spirit of darts that develops more and more, and it's great to see that is, you know, more and more darts fans get that in more and more countries.
Do you think the players play their role as well? Because they are in many times silencing the crowd when they're booing, as well as the German players. So they are probably going against each other, let's say, against their own. But do you think they also just thought about it, that this is not the way to go, to boo the other players?
Yeah, I mean, the players say it in interviews as well. And the thing I always tell the crowd is, like when you've got a player you want to win and you boo his opponent, you're not helping him. It's not helping them. You're taking their mind of things as well, because you know what darts is like when they think, oh God, they're booing my opponent, I don't want that. Their mind is not on the game, and that makes them miss as well. And this is not the way the guys want to win now. They want to win because they are the better player. And so if you want to support your guy, if you want to make sure your guy wins, sing his name as loud as you can. Clap, shout when he hits the 180. That's the way it's supposed to be. I think what's been absolutely beautiful this year on the European Tour was the final in Graz in Austria, where Luke Littler played Joe Cullen, and it was unreal because 50% of the venue was shouting Joe Cullen and the other 50% was shouting Luke Littler, and it was going back and forth. I was like, that's the way it's supposed to be. Not a single boo, not a whistle. I want this guy to win, I shout his name. I want this guy to win, I shout his name. That's perfect.
Probably if I come back to the Prague European Tour, can you maybe describe us a bit about the background? Because we are here on Thursday, so you arrived yesterday. Yeah. So why do you arrive so early? Is it to, I don't know, familiarize a bit with the venue? Or if you can give us or our listeners a bit of a background.
Because Prague is so beautiful. That's why. No, Prague is beautiful, but that's not the reason why I'm here. Once we finish this interview, I'm going to go to the venue, and at 2:00 we're going to open the doors there for the host nation qualifier. We got 69 Czech players that registered for the event, and 4 of them will win a spot at the European Tour event. They will play on Friday. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll go there at 12 and then make sure everything is fine and set up and do the draw. And I've got two of my staff there who will help me run the event. And so that's why I arrive on the Wednesday, just so I don't have a hassle to arrive here on Thursday, because you know what it's like, a German railway, you know, then train is late and then I miss the qualifier. So that's why.
What about the draw? Are you doing it through Dart Connect? Is it still like through the computer, or you're doing manually?
No. It's with the computer. The draw's not done on Dart Connect. It's called on a platform called DIMS. It's just a different platform that we run the PDC things through. But once the draw is done there, I then send it through to Dart Connect, and that's where everyone can follow every dart if you wish to. And yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting to see who wins this today. Numbers are up from last year. This is also an important sign. It takes us longer to run the qualifier, but I'd rather have it be a long qualifier than only have like 30 people there, because you want to see that there's a genuine interest, not only from the public watching the sport, but also from the players in a particular country wanting to play the qualifier and wanting to qualify for the event.
What do you think it will be the influence of not having Karel Sedláček and Adam Gablas this year? Because PDC has changed the rules. I know that Pavel Korda spoke a bit that he wants to talk to the PDC about this. And the Czech fans are not happy, let's say, very genuinely. But what do you think the impact will be? Do you think that the fans are still going to enjoy the same as we will have them here?
Yeah. I mean, I can understand people that are not too keen on the new rule, and obviously in an ideal world you would like the two big names of Czech darts to be participating in this event. I would have loved to see them there, but that's the way the PDC in the UK decided that. So that's what we're running with for the moment. But nevertheless, that opens the doors for other stories. Like when you go back to Switzerland, who would have thought about Roger Hertig winning a game there? Who would have thought that? We know Bruno Stöckli from the World Cup, but that was probably the only time anyone, even guys that are big into darts, will have seen Bruno Stöckli, and all of a sudden, he turns it a light there, and the venue goes crazy. So it opens the doors for other Czech players, who we don't know which four will come through the qualifier today, but maybe this weekend for one of them, it could be a life-changing event, because chances aren't that high, but maybe there's a Czech player that you haven't heard a lot about who just said, hey, I'm going to register for this. Let's try. We'll see. I mean, we had it with our German Pascal Ruprecht in the Q school a couple of years ago, like when he basically made that decision, I think 3 or 4 days before registration closed, and he said, well, I'll give it a go. And he'd never played in the PDC before, and he won the tour card. So maybe this could be one of those moments for a certain Czech player. Yeah.
There was also probably a change to the draw as well, because we saw in Budapest two host nation qualifiers come together in the first round, and then next to it, I think it was Nathan Aspinall versus Michael Smith. Yeah. So I think there are also chances to go to the second round if the draw is friendly to you.
If the draw is friendly to you, but that is why it's a random draw for the first round. You only get seeds from the second round onwards, so whoever is in that first round, they can run into each other. So. I know that some players aren't happy about it, but the only thing that we, or in that case Graham Fair as the tournament director, does is he puts in the names and then he pushes the button one time, and that's when the draw is done. And the way it comes out is the way it comes out. That's just the way it is. So I know that it wasn't the greatest game the two Hungarian host nation qualifiers had, but it was one guy going through to the second round, and if that's what the draw says, that's what the draw says.
I think we can say the Prague European Tour is important as well from the European Championship race, as it is the last tournament. So do you think that it can be even more important for some players such as Nathan Aspinall, who is very close not to qualify for the tournament, and he could lose a lot of money he's retaining money from the Grand Slam. He didn't retain the money from the World Grand Prix. So do you think that he can produce something unexpected here, something like he can show his best?
I think Nathan is one of those players, like he thrives under pressure. Like there are people that they kind of lose it a bit when the pressure's on. Not with Nathan. Like he's also so good when it comes to making comebacks within a game. Like when he's 3 or 4 legs down, never count out Nathan Aspinall. So he knows how to handle pressure. He's won 2 major titles. He's been there, done that. So I don't think it will be a problem for him. Like he won't think, oh God, if I go out here first round, chances are high that I don't make the European Championship. That's not the way he functions. He'll just full steam ahead. Try to win as many games as he can, and try to qualify for that European Championship. And it's like when I talk to the players on stage as well, because we're basically in the run to a major event all the time. For the last couple of weeks, it's been the World Grand Prix, when everyone's like, oh God, I need, maybe if I win this round, I'm looking really good. Luke Woodhouse is always in that race. He's been in there for the past 2 years. Like, one of the only things I talk to him about on the stage is basically, will you make it to the World Grand Prix? And they always say the worst thing you can do is think about it. Obviously, it's in the back of your mind. You go, I got to perform well, but darts is mentally challenging enough as it is, even without thinking about, oh God, I need a win here. So, just as difficult as it is, just throw your darts, play the game, play the board, and I think that's what Nathan's going to do.
So are you looking forward to the weekend?
Oh, no doubt. I listen, this is the European Tour. This is, as my colleague Dan Dawson puts it, the greatest tour in sports. So we're always looking forward to it. There's not a... And that's great about, as I said, I've been doing it now for nearly 5 years full time. There's never been a day where I thought, oh God, I'm not too keen on it now. It's always, the next great story, the next great thing, the next great leg could always be around the corner, and that is just, it's so thrilling. That's what makes our sport.
So let's hope Nathan Aspinall doesn't get a host nation qualifier, because I think we'll be against him.
We'll see. Yeah. That might just be one of the few times where the crowd is not on Nathan's side, because as we know, he's such a crowd favorite. But yeah, even if that happens, like he's one of those guys. Like he turns to the crowd and he just smiles at them. So he won't be bothered.
Yeah, I think even Mr. Bryce, I wouldn't save it.
Yeah. I said that to him actually because he was playing Marcel Walpen in Basel, and I said, I was speaking to Marcel before the event, after he'd qualified and host nation qualified, because we used to play in the same team in Switzerland, so I know Marcel quite well. And I said, listen, walk on song wise, you go for that song. I know you've never used it before. Go for that. It's gonna be crazy. And it was that famous Swiss song. It's called Venus vor Bümplitz by Patent Ochsner, and crowd went crazy. And I said before the game, I said to Nathan, this might be the only time ever that you have the second best walk on of compared to your opponent. But no, it's both of them a classic, really.
Yeah, I did the commentary for the Swiss Darts Trophy, so I remember all the games as well, the host nation qualifiers and etc. But you spoke about Dan Dawson as your colleague, and that leads me to another topic of our podcast today, and that's your job as a Master of Ceremonies. Because I remember probably 5 years ago, you were quite of switching there on the podium. He was trying to do some tournaments as a Master of Ceremonies than you were. So when did it change to your full-time job that you are doing? You're the only PDC Europe Master of Ceremonies.
I remember the first European Tour event I did was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was it Leverkusen in 2018 or 19? One of the two. Final was MVG against Rob Cross, I think. Might have been 19, I'm not too... It was 19, actually, yeah. It was early in 2019, and later that year I started working with PDC Europe full-time. The couple of times where we went back and forth, where Dan did the Friday, and I then came into the Saturday, Sunday, that was the first year after COVID. And we had to do it because a lot of the times, we got our exhibitions going on as well, our galas, and we usually do them on the Friday. And we had so many galas that we had postponed. We couldn't do them because of COVID, and we had to do them at some point. And so what we did was we did them on the European Tour Fridays. So we then made the decision, okay, I'll be doing the galas, and Dan Dawson will be doing the Friday on the European Tour. So that's how that back and forth happened. But since late 2019 or since 2020, I've basically done the MC and stuff full time. Was just that Dan filled in for me a couple of times when I couldn't be there. And now the way the broadcast is now, it's become more and more demanding for Dan as well. So now he couldn't do the MC and then jump in the commentary booth and start commentating. That kind of worked a couple of years ago, but now it's become such an advanced TV product as well, the European Tour, which is great to see for all of us. Like when we remember the days when it was only streaming and stuff, it didn't look as great as it does today. So that is fantastic to see.
It might be a little too forward, but what do you think about the future? Because John McDonnell isn't getting any younger, but do you think that you can replace him one day, or do you think that the UK fans would want somebody from the UK? So how do you think about the situation?
Well, first of all, the English have to deal with the German in another very important position now in England as the manager of the national football team with Thomas Tuchel. So, no, listen, I don't know. Like, if they asked me to do it, I would give it a go. I would definitely try it. But yeah, that is completely down to the PDC. Whatever they want to do, I am, and that's the good thing for me. I am completely happy in the environment I'm in right now, doing the European tour, doing a couple of the majors that are being played on the continent. So that's completely fine with me. And whatever happens on top of that, or whatever doesn't happen on top of that, it's going to be what it's going to be. I can only control what I can control. So yeah.
I'm just wondering, how can you get a job of a Master of Ceremonies? Because I think like you're the only guy who can do it, probably. Like, you're the only guy who's doing it. If we see the commentaries or the commentators in general, there are many people who can do the darts commentaries, but you're the only one there every single European Tour weekend, and also as well the World Cups and the European Championships. So how can you even get to this job?
Yeah, like with most jobs, or most jobs where it's only a few people that can do it, you need a bit of luck first of all to be given the chance. I think that's where luck comes in. So I studied media and communication science in Switzerland, and pretty early on I realized, okay, I don't want to do something theoretical. I want to do something with a microphone. If it's presenting or commentating or whatever, this is what gets me going, what I like to do. So pretty early on I went into I did university radio, and next to studying I earned a couple of Swiss francs with commentating on football, commentate for a small radio station in Switzerland on the first division in football there. So, and then in 2018, it was World Championship 2018, so late 2017, it was the Rob Cross World Championship. A small Swiss TV station, TV24, they bought the rights for the last 4 days, I think, of the World Championship, and they needed someone who can commentate and who's got a bit of a clue about darts. And thankfully, that group of people wasn't that big in Switzerland. So around a couple of contacts, they got to me and asked me if I want to do it. And I said yes, and that's how I got in touch with PDC Europe later on. And then my now boss Werner von Moltke said, "Well, would you like to talk for us a bit on stage?" And I said, "Well, if you want to try it, I'd definitely give it a go." And they let me do a couple of the warm-ups. Back in the day, it was still Elmar Pauke who was the MC then, and I did like the 10 minutes prior to the show for him. Got the crowd going a bit, talked about the games a little bit, and then yeah, I got the first shot on the European tour as an MC in early in 2019 in Leverkusen, and tried not to look back and just take it and run from there.
What is your preparation? Because I can imagine that you are not just going to the stage and say, "Oh, there is Michael van Gerwen. Oh, there is Karel Sedlacek." Yeah. So how long it takes you to prepare for each of the games, for each of the days? Does it differ? Probably in the Friday there are not so famous players in some games.
Well, now that I've got a bit more experience now, and I've got a certain routine. Obviously, I do look up all the facts about the players. What could I say about him? And there's so much darts being played. Sometimes I announce someone I used to announce him as a quarter-finalist on the Pro Tour, and then let's check, did he make a semi-final somewhere the last couple of weeks? So that takes me to prepare those 48 players. That takes me probably around about 3 hours or so. Just look it up, make sure that all those facts are correct. And the main preparation then is getting on the same page with our audio guys. So then rehearsing the walk-ons, and that's it takes us probably around about 20 minutes to 30 minutes before the doors open for the fans. We just I'm at the venue, and we go through every walk-on, and they can have a listen to what I'm going to say, and then they know exactly, okay, this is where we start the music, and then when Philip finishes, that's where we're going to be at the right position in the song. So that's basically rehearsing then.
Let's switch outside from darts, or a bit from the podium in general. You are a head of sports, And well, for me, head of sports means that you are head of football, hockey, what PDC does. Want to Luke Littler play with the F1 guys. So is it that? I hope not. But yeah, what is?
No, it's basically what it comes down to is organizing and preparing all the events that are not being shown on television. So everywhere where I'm not doing the presenting on the stage, all the qualifiers, like the development tours, challenge tours, pro tours that are being held outside of the UK, I'm organising these and I'm making sure they run smoothly, and hopefully the host nation qualifier today runs smoothly. But I'm sure it will. It usually does. So that's what I do there. The last couple of years, I spend a lot of time and a lot of energy, like building up a marking scheme for the PDC Europe, so we can have all the events marked. Like we couldn't do that a couple of years ago because we didn't have the markers to do it. So but by now, like, events that are being played on 16 boards are no problem. It's still a bit of a stretch for events that are being played on 32 boards, but we're getting there. We're building up that marking scheme, getting more people into that, and that's an important part of it as well at the moment. Yeah.
What is the most difficult thing about preparing these events, such as Players Championship? I've been to the challenge tour with Vítězslav Sedlak a couple of months ago, so I think we can see even more behind. What do you have to think about? What do you have to concentrate about?
Well, it's different things for different events. Like the Pro Tours, they are pretty straightforward. Like the main challenge, if you want to call it that, is like picking the events that go on the streaming. Making sure that the games you put in there make sense. You don't want all the players or the same players every time. You want to mix it up a little bit. Make sure that that the viewers get a bit of a change in there as well, and see an exciting product. When it comes to development tour, challenge tour, Q School, the big challenge there is just the massive numbers that you get. I mean, especially Q School, you get so many players now. So you have to make sure that you run things very efficient, and we keep saying it to players as well. Like, make sure that you're on time. Make sure that you get to your board quickly. Like, never mind if it's like the development tour, they are self-mark competitions where when you lose, you have to mark the next game as well. All the other competitions, we have markers that mark the game. So I say, listen, like if you take just when you've got 300, 350 players there, you've got so many rounds of play. And I always tell them, listen, we've got 2 events a day. If all of you take 3 or 4 minutes between every game, and that adds up, that in the end, that is 1.5, 2 hours that we're here longer. And I know it's not necessarily a problem for the players, but they want it run smoothly and efficiently as well, and quickly. So yeah, different challenges for different sort of events.
Before I come to the last topic of our interview today, I don't know if you are the right person to ask, but do you think there will be streams from Challenge Tour in the future? Because I think the level that is there is sometimes very comparable to the PDC events like the Players Championships, etc.
Yeah.
So do you think it should be streamed, and do you think it will be streamed?
I'm actually not the right person to ask. That would be Matt Porter would be your man for this if they plan to stream this one day. I can understand. I can understand where you're coming from there, because you get amazing games and amazing standard on the challenge tour as well. And for darts nuts like you and me, it's also nice to see new faces and sort of see, okay, where could be the next Rob Cross that makes his way through the challenge tour and be the next big thing in the PDC. So once again, I think it could be a possibility, but I won't be the person deciding it.
And the last topic is about players in general, because I think you spent a lot of time with them on the European tour. So how they were treating you back in the day when you started 5 years ago, how they are treating you now? Are you friends? Are you more than friends? Are you like mates?
More than friends.
That was a bad formation.
I can tell that no. Just thinking about if there's some. Well, there's a difference in the sense of, like, we know each other much better now, and when you come in, when you do the job for the first couple of times, they are not too sure about the walk-ons itself. That's not a big thing. But I think when it comes to asking them questions on the stage, now they know that they can trust me. I'm not going to ask them a question that makes them look silly. Of course, when there's something interesting going on, I'll ask about it in a certain way. But I'd never ask like a journalistic question where it would be like, okay, why are you trying to push my buttons here? I wouldn't do that. So no, it's just, we as you say, we spend so much time with each other. I spent more time with these guys than I do with my family, like, because we're on the road so much. And yeah, you got a couple of guys where you could say they've become mates over the years, so which is good, which makes things easier and much more fun as well.
I think you'll probably answer that you don't want to answer, but can you tell me who is or who are your best friends within the PDC?
Well, usually it's the guys that I spend a lot of time with, because we do the galas together as well, the exhibitions. So right now it's probably someone I get along really well with is Luke Humphreys, because we support the same football team as well, Leeds United. So we always have a topic to talk about. But there are loads of guys that I'm really, really fond of, that I really like spending time with. It's Joe Cullen, Johnny Clayton is a fantastic guy. Nathan Espinal, great fella. And obviously like the German guys as well, Martin Schindler, Gabriel Clemens.
And the very last question, which is the same for every interview I do. Where do you see yourself in future? Do you see yourself as a master of ceremonies? Do you see yourself as a commentator? Or, I don't know, as a Pro Tour player? I don't know.
Well, I'd love to still be doing the MC stuff in a couple of years. Absolutely no problem whatsoever keeping doing that. What I'd like to do in the future, I'd like to do something on TV that's got nothing to do with sports. I enjoy those. I don't know, you probably have that in the Czech Republic as well. I like those TV talk shows where it's like an old-fashioned talk show, where it's like, I don't know, 1.5, 2 hours, and it's just people talking about things, where it's not, I like TV in general. I'm a TV kind of person. I like watching stuff, but my thing is, everything is so quick these days. Like those shows, they are so, it's bam, 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 bam. Everything is so, you don't have any time to do anything. So I really enjoy those shows where you got the feeling they've taken the speed out of it a little bit. It's just it's people that come there and they talk about what happened in their lives. It can be famous people. It can be, I don't know, famous sports people. It can be actors. But I also enjoy the shows where it's just regular kind of people that have gone through something, that have got a special story from their life. That's something I'd like to do in the future. So maybe that is something I could see myself doing.
The guest of our November interview in Čistý Střed was Philip Brzezinski. Philip, thank you so much for accepting the invite.
You're very, very welcome, Peter. Really enjoyed it, and all the best for your show and for the future.
Yeah, and the next interview in December will be in Czech. But we will have a live podcast at the end of November. I think you won't come because it will be in Czech, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, thank you so much, and see you in Letňany.
Thank you very much.